I'm Rhonda with the Sawgrass Education Team, and welcome to our Learn with Sawgrass. We do these every Wednesday. We kind of follow a theme. The first one of the month is generally all about our software and doing something in our software. The second one is a business builder, all about different markets that you may be interested in or interested in going into. So just kind of walking you through some business concepts. Third and fourth one, we kind of rotate a little bit. One of them is a how do I, and then the other one is our part of our Sawgrass Advantage. So we did the Sawgrass Advantage last week. We talked about our printers, and I feel like that is a good segue to what we're going to do today. For joining with us today, you actually get a sneak peek. This is not released yet. We've talked about it a little bit, but it is brand new. Not released yet, so you will start seeing information about this closer to the middle of April, but I am about to burst. So I decided today was the perfect day to kind of roll this out and talk to you a little bit about it. I'm going to demo as well. So I guess I should go ahead and tell you. You probably know that as the education manager, I'm on the product development team here at Sawgrass. I had a huge role in the software that we just released, but then also I get to see new products and new things that we're doing and work with them. And this one's kind of exciting. So, question to the group, if I were to ask you, what products can you not do with sublimation, what would you tell me? Feel free to unmute and say it.
Cotton.
Cotton. I'm hearing cotton.
Cotton.
Yeah, and I think I'm hearing cotton from some people who have already got to play with the solution a little bit. But yeah, so the first one you're going to hear is cotton, and that's probably the biggest. Now, the other limitation is, and really it's the same sentence, but sublimation is limited to anything that has a poly coating. So for fabric, that's polyester. For anything else, that is going to be blanks that do have that poly coating on them for sublimation. So that's kind of always been the limitation. So we do have a brand new system. It is our VersaFlex system. And what Versaflex is going to allow you to do is it is a brand new ink system or ink from us. And so with this ink and then special paper, you are actually going to be able to press onto both cotton fabric and then also onto uncoated wood and unglazed ceramic. So the way it's going to work is you will have to have a new printer. So you cannot convert the printer that you have. But with that new printer, you'll have the VersaFlex ink system. It is slightly different than our traditional CMYK. It is a CMY, and then the K is replaced by what we're calling an expander. So that expander is going to allow you to then press onto things that do not have that poly in them. So if you wanted to do traditional sublimation, you had a mug that you wanted to sublimate onto, you're just going to put your TruePick sublimation paper in there with your VersaFlex ink. You're going to print and press as you normally do. If you had something that you wanted to use with sublimation heat transfer vinyl, same thing. You're going to put that heat transfer vinyl in there, print onto it, press as you normally would. But when I want to go on to cotton, any natural fabric, or almost any natural fabric, and then those things like the wood and the ceramics, you are going to have to put in that VersiFlex Light paper. So the VersiFlex Light paper with that ink set will then you just print and press pretty much like you normally do. I'm going to show you in just a minute. But before I do, what questions do you have for me?
Rhonda, when is it going to be released to everyone?
It looks like mid-April is when that's going to be released to everyone. Now, just to kind of go through the process, this has been sitting with us in product development for a long time, getting fine-tuned. Over the last few months, I have had testers, both from our dealers and then also users as well, who have had it and have been practicing with it, playing with us, kind of helping us hone in. I did get to go and demonstrate this at a trade show not too long ago as well. So kind of get some feedback and kind of do some printing and pressing right on the spot. So we have gotten it out there. We are feeling out anything that, maybe points that we need to educate on, Rhodes and I. But I would say both Rhodes and I are very excited about this solution. And like I said, you will see our website, our social media as well, and that would be around the middle of the month, around the middle of April.
Rhonda, you have a couple questions in the chat. Lou asked, how does it hold up on mugs? Are they still hand washable? I'm assuming also machine washable as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so here's the thing. Your sublimation is going to be virtually the same as it currently is. So if you're using the system to do both and you're doing sublimation with it and you're doing the printing on the VersiFlex Light for these other products, your sublimation side, you're using your sublimation paper, you're printing through the Sawgrass print utility, you're pressing, none of that changes. The quality is the same, the look on the mug is the same, everything's the same. What you're using the VersaFlex Light for is going to be the fabrics, and then it's also going to be those uncoated woods and unglazed ceramics, those kind of products. With those, when we're talking about the material, we have done all the wash fastness testing. We are meeting industry standards. This particular shirt, no fading, no anything, no cracking, no problems. And it's been washed many times. And as you can see, it's also on a blue shirt, which is kind of cool as well.
You have a couple questions about price.
Yeah, luckily not my arena. So pricing will be announced when we do release this in a few weeks. We'll have more information on the pricing and all of that. I don't have anything on that today.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Hi. So where will we be able to pick up the paper, and will it be coming in different sizes?
Yeah, so actually the paper is going to be all those same ones as normal. So 8.5 by 11, 11 by 17, A3, A4 for our friends in Europe, and then also 13 by 19. And so all will be available. I don't have that list of what dealers are carrying it at this point. When we do release this on the website, you will be able to see who will be carrying it and where you can get that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Question?
We have, go ahead.
Hi, is it one size printer, or will there be two? One for like 8.5 by 11 and then a larger printer like your SG 1000?
Yeah, so the printer doesn't change. The only thing that's changing is this is a new ink set that goes into it. Because it is a different type of ink set, you can't convert from one of our other, from a printer you had Sublejet or Chromoblast ink in. But as far as the printer itself, same printers, SG 500 and SG 1000, both will take this ink set.
You have some questions about longevity of ink and richness of color. Do you want to go ahead and demonstrate?
Yeah, I will do a demo in just a second. As far as the colors, and it did completely slip my mind to bring in my sample set, so I apologize for that. Rhodes, will you actually go grab the mug, the metal, and the frame sets off of Brett's desk if you can? And
Yes, will do.
leave the chat for a minute. I'm sorry, I didn't even think about that when I was coming in here. So yes, colors are very, very, very comparable to what you're getting with a Sublejet. So just what you've always gotten from Sawgrass. As I've said many a time, our inks are made here in our offices in Charleston, South Carolina. We do small batches to ensure quality. And you are always going to get the best colors and the richness. As far as shelf life, it's the same. It is the 2-year expiration date that you're used to with our others. All right, so I am going to go ahead and, well, actually, Rhodes is about to wander in. Perfect. All right, cool. Okay, so I'm going to switch cameras so you can see this better. Okay, so this is a print with VersaFlex ink using TruePix paper onto a Chromolux panel. You can see the darkness of the darks. You can see the goodness of the skin tones. We've actually done tests. We've had people compare a panel from Sublejet to a panel from the VersaFlex, and the colors are very, very similar. They couldn't tell us which was which. So there's that. You see my shirt close up. The quality of that feel is very good. It's a very soft feel. This is actually uncoated wood. I'm extremely proud of this because this is from the dollar store. So this is just a piece of plywood from the dollar store. This is just a background pattern out of our design tool. You see how good that looks. And this is an unglazed ceramic. So this is an unglazed ceramic tile coaster. And as you can see, colors look great. This is a self-weeding paper. So as you're seeing on my shirt, the areas that do not have color are the shirt. And you're seeing how great that looks. So there you go. All right, so there's some samples. Rhodes will be back at his desk in a minute since I made him run around the building, and he'll give me any of the questions that are in the chat. But I'm going to go ahead and start designing while we're waiting.
You're caught up on questions too.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, you do have one question from Christina about printing white.
Yeah, so nothing changes there. We do not have a white ink. So anything that is white in your design becomes the color of the product. So with wood, if there had been any white in this, it would have been, when there is a little bit, you can see the wood in some areas on here. And then with my shirt, same thing. Anything that doesn't have color is just the color of the shirt. All right. Let's go ahead and make a shirt. Now, just a few things as we kind of start doing this, just so you kind of know a few things about this. If you've ever used any paper where you're using the ink and then you're going on to cotton, and you've used any of those papers that are made for that, as you know, you do have to apply that pretty quickly. So same thing here. We're saying about 10 minutes. You have to get from printing it to pressing it. It is wet when it goes on, so you can't reposition it. You're going to have to put it really where you want it and get that on there. And then it is a hot peel. This has been a little bit of a learning curve for all of us because we are used to sublimation where the paper pretty much just falls off or you pull the tape off. First of all, you don't have to tape with the VersiFlex Light paper. It does stay in place, so you don't have any gassing. And then the other thing is that peel is a real peel. We're calling it a low hot peel. So you're keeping your hand pretty close. You're going to see when I demo this in a minute. It is kind of that low hot peel. I say it's very similar to peeling a sticker off of the paper, or if you've ever pulled vinyl letters and you're just kind of doing that smooth transition, that's what you're going to do here. All right, so I am going to pull up a design for us to use today. Really the big thing here is I want to make sure it's a good size. I'm going to go ahead and put it on a shirt though, and go from there. All right, so I am pulling up one of our designs. I'm going to go ahead and I know what category I want, which is the inspirational category. Mhm. I'll pull up one that I had earlier that I really liked. I think I'm gonna go with this one today. All right. And we'll go over and send this to Sawgrass Print Utility. Now, my Sawgrass Print Utility is different than the one that you currently have. The main reason is this is the one that's specifically including Versaflex. And then we will be releasing that version to the general public in a few weeks when we start to get these systems out. So that is saving. All right. Now, while that is sending over, I'm going to go ahead and pre-press my shirt. Now, we normally don't talk a lot about a pre-press. The reason we're going to make sure in pre-press is to make sure that we get any moisture out of the fabric. This system is water-based, so it is going to interact with any moisture in the shirt. So we want to make sure and not have any moisture there. And the other thing, of course, is wrinkles. It is going to be sensitive to wrinkles, so you want to make sure we're not dealing with that. And that is opening now. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ready. Now, there is a new button here, and that is adjust for light colors. This is specifically for our VersiFlex Light. We do know that if there are any colors that are extremely light, they may not get the expander they need. So we're going to lay down a little extra expander. And the reason I'm going to do it specifically on this design is I have something that's pink. And from what I have found, pinks are the most susceptible to not getting enough. So I'm going to make sure and lay that down. And then I'm just going to go ahead and first of all, I'm going to choose my product. As you see, they're all there. I am doing a cotton t-shirt, so I'll go ahead and select that. You will see that my paper type immediately changes. So if you're ever confused or you're not certain which paper you need to have in the printer for what you're doing, it is going to kind of guide you there. And I am going to go ahead and choose. I know that my paper is A3, which is similar to 11 by 17. get that set up, and I'm gonna go ahead and pre-press really fast. Now, if you've ever used our Chroma Blast solution, this is gonna be similar as far as the temperature goes. So we are doing 375 for 30 seconds. And yes, I should have my lint roller. I don't, so. I'm just gonna put that in for about 10 seconds. Just to give that kind of a pre-press. One of the other things I will say to you is that time, temperature, and pressure are more important than ever, and especially pressure. For this to work, the pressure does have to be what we're calling really high. You see that I had it, so I had to kind of push to get that up. That is going to be very important with this. I'm going to go ahead and center this to make my life easier. And hit print. Now, the paper gets loaded same into the printer as before. You are putting it face down. You will notice that the front side, the face side, does have a film to it. When your package comes, it is going to say this side up. Make sure that you keep it in that packaging because there is nothing on the back. So you want to make sure that you're following that instruction of which side is up. Put as much paper as you need in the printer. When you're done, you can store it back in that package. Just make sure you're keeping the correct side facing up. All right, any questions while I'm printing?
So just a few things here, Rhonda. This is going to be launching at the same time in the UK and Canada as well.
Yeah, so you're gonna see it on our website and in the US first, but you will be seeing it in Europe within a couple of weeks of that. So it's not gonna be a long delay, but you will be seeing it. We will be attending FESPA this year in Berlin. So if you're gonna be there, we will be there. So we will kind of launch it there and let people play with it in Europe. So it'll be a little bit behind, but we really are just right now letting people know, and y'all are getting a definite sneak peek. Okay, so there's my print. We're gonna press it and see what happens. I am putting my blowout paper on top. And there we go, 30 seconds. Any questions while we wait?
I think you're caught up on questions here.
I have a question.
Okay,
And I'm sorry, I'm a little novice-y.
no,
You're
good.
saying that, okay, if I want to use this new ink, I'm going to call it ink or correct me if I'm wrong, for
No, you're
making
good.
thank you, cotton t-shirts. I
Mhm.
just need a brand new, unused Sawgrass, either 500 or 1000, and just start using it with this new ink?
That's exactly right. And I'm gonna start.
Oh, I wish I had known. I bought my sister's yesterday, but I had already put the ink in it. Oh, okay.
All right. Sorry. All right, there you go. There's my shirt, looks great. All of it adhered. If I were doing more of these, I may increase my pressure or my temperature just slightly. But otherwise you can see that looks really, really good. And of course, if I were selling this, you can do a finish press. Just throw this back in, lighten that pressure up a little bit, throw this back in for 10, 15 seconds under a little bit lighter pressure, just to kind of give it that fresh, that finishing press so it's nice and soft. But otherwise, I'd call this a success. There you go. Washable immediately. You don't have to wait. Like I said, machine wash, machine dry. I wear this one quite a bit. I find it to be very comfortable, and just wash it as I normally would. I actually, the first few times, out of nervousness, turned it inside out. I don't even bother anymore. I just throw it in with everything else. All right, what other questions? And then we'll move on to something else.
Claudia asked a good question. We've talked about cotton, but other natural fabrics, can you kind of walk through some of those or just what that entails?
Yes, and this is where things get really exciting. So I have joked that my life the last month or so has been a giant scavenger hunt and riddle. My poor daughter gets in the car or actually goes to the car the other day and wants to know why I have 30 tumblers in the car. And I'm like, well, for work. Or the day after she goes, I tell her, I said, we have to go to every dollar store in town until we have a certain number of wooden arrows. And she's like, at this point, I don't even ask. So we have tried a wide variety of fabrics. When we do launch this in a couple of weeks, you will see these on our website. We have done chenille pillowcases. We have done velvet pillowcases. We have done suede. We have done linen. We have done denim. We have the most beautiful jeans jacket that you're going to see on our website in a couple of weeks. Just phenomenal. We have done velvet, suede, every blend that you can imagine. We've done tri-blends, we've done 50-50, we've done all of them. I mean, I was so excited this morning. I was typing something up that's going to be on the website, and I'm like, if it's less than 80% polyester, call it needing VersiFlex Light and choose cotton as your fabric. And that's, or the natural fibers as your fabric. Oh, we've also done nylon bags that we get at craft stores. Look amazing. And so we have tried a little bit of everything fabric wise. The only fabric I'm going to tell you right off the bat does not work is going to be silk. Silk just can't hold up to the temperature. But otherwise, fabric wise, we have played around with pretty much everything, and the results look like this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and make something real quick for my wood. I'm just going to use a custom canvas for this. All right. As you know, one of my favorite features in this program is you can filter and look for specific types of fonts. So I'm going to do a nice block font for this particular project. This one's going to work great. And then okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a text effect on that. I'm gonna squish that in. I'm actually gonna do 2 of these. Little quick design here. Keep the questions coming. I know you have them. Oops. Didn't hit save. Sorry, it feels weird without a third one. 1 second. All right. There we go. One more step and we'll be out the door. Mhm. We'll go ahead and send that over. And while we do that, I'm gonna adjust the press. Now, temperature and time are gonna stay the same for this particular product. The only difference I'm gonna make is, of course, it's a little thicker, so I have to lighten up the pressure. And the pressure is gonna be medium instead of high for this particular product. All right, we've gotten really good at feeling the pressure and being able to judge it. I still feel the best thing I've ever seen is one of our chemists was able to judge pressure via Zoom. And I thought that was pretty cool, didn't need any devices. But that's pretty much the big things. Choose the right printer. I am gonna go ahead and adjust this for the light colors just to be safe, just because there's some pink in there. Now I'm gonna choose my uncoated wood. Now, yes, in the normal world, I wouldn't use this big of a piece of paper, but you know, it will work for me today. Go ahead and hit print and see how that looks. All right. We've done so many fun things. I would say probably, you'll see it on our website, but we did a knit blanket. and put like a monogram on it, and that's probably my favorite thing that we've done. We've done a lot of cool things. I'm gonna cut a little bit of this off, just so it's not so huge. Now with the wood, you do want to make sure, and with the ceramic too, you want to make sure that you have something to grab onto. So you do kind of want to make sure that the paper's hanging off, no matter what, if it's a full bleed design or not. Like I said, a little bit of expediency, but not great. You do have roughly 10 minutes to get this all set up. I do find it slightly easier for me to put it down and then flip it over. That's what we're gonna do. Just of course, hold tight when you do. And I did slip, so I may have a problem with that because I said it. All right, let's see how that turns out. Any other questions while we're waiting? What are you thinking? What are your first thoughts for those of you who are hearing this for the first time?
I think
Lu-
it's really
oh, go.
it's great, but I'm a bit disappointed that we've got to get another machine.
Yeah, I do understand that. Unfortunately, it's just that there's no way to convert the ink, because as you know, once the ink's in the line, the ink is in the line. So unfortunately, we just don't have a way around that. Now, like I said, I did it, I got a little off on this, but you can see kind of where it's going and how well it would look. But I was a little off, but still really pretty. And I would probably, like I said, up the pressure is what I think I did wrong. I'm getting to be an expert on pressure.
Rhonda, Lou asked about working with mirrors, doing this on mirrors. Not 100% sure. What do you?
Yeah, I would be worried about mirrors, Lou, because the high temperature and pressure that are required. Even the ceramics, you have to be careful that you have to balance how high of the pressure you need with what the ceramic can withstand. So I'm not certain that a mirror would work.
Yeah, I'd be worrying about it shattering.
Yep.
Miss Christina asked why you still use a protective sheet when pressing.
Yeah, so that's to protect the press. That's what the protective sheet is all about anyway, is so that if there were any errant ink, it's not getting on the press. If my design stretched past the edges, I would also put one on the bottom just so no ink gets in the press, because it's hard to get the ink out of the press once it's in there. So it's pretty much standard for me on anything that's in the flat press that I'm going to use some paper just to protect everything.
I think other than that, you are caught up with questions. Does anybody else have anything?
Yeah, and I'll just go back to that question that we had about the switching to the new printer. You also, it does operate differently. It is a completely different system. So firmware and stuff just is not compatible with a model that's already got ink in it. And that's why you would have to do a new one for this.
If necessary, could you tape it down to hold it in place?
You could, yeah. I mean, we usually don't because it's not necessary. But something like this, I probably would have had better success. And I also just realized I think I may have gone on the wrong side, which never helps. So there's a smoother side to the wood and I use the other side. But other than that, yes, tape would help. You can always use tape just to kind of hold it in place.
We've had a couple questions along this topic, but other than natural fabrics, can you say more about the hard surfaces that you can work with? We've
Yeah, I
ceramics
mean,
and everything.
yeah, so really, it's anything that is non-porous. So anything that kind of has that rougher feel to it. So a tumbler from a craft store that is not a sublimation one, just a regular tumbler, would not work with the VersiFlex Light. The reason is the surface is too smooth and the film doesn't adhere to it. Really what you're looking at that works well is, like I said, a ceramic that's unglazed, wood that has no varnish, no coating at all on it. I've had good success with the wood from dollar stores. And then of course, this is just from Michael's, and it works well too. So any of those woods that are of a lighter color, typically what we found is you don't want anything that's been glazed or coated in any way, shape, or form. But otherwise, pretty much any wood we have had good success with. Make sure that your wood is flat. That could also be a part of my issue with this one, is this wood sometimes does warp. So wood that is flat and even, and then kind of has good pores to it, for lack of a better way of saying it, really works well. I think
It's
that's pretty much the hard surfaces we've tested at this point. We've had so much fun with the fabrics. We haven't done quite as much with the wood and the other hard surfaces, but we've had people had good success with a lot of those. Cork as well, different kinds of wood also.
What about slate? Has anyone done anything with slate yet?
Slate falls into the stone category, so it is a yes. So not only unglazed ceramics, but any stone or slate also works. Again, you're going to be a little careful on the colors here. You are wanting to go with a lighter color slate instead of a dark slate, just so it'll show up. But yes, you can do slate and stone in general.
Miss Darla also asked about using an oven for VersaFlex.
Yeah, it would work the same. So anything that you could always shrink wrap and put in an oven just like you would. I haven't played with it to give you temperatures at this point. And I will try to test that for you and be able to at least give you a little bit of guidance by the time this comes out.
And speaking of when it comes out, Miss Claudia, we're looking at middle of April at this time. Please just be on the lookout on our social media, our website for the official date in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and feel free to email me. And then anytime we send out information, I'll make sure you're on that mailing list. So I will drop that in the chat.
Miss Christina asked about pre-pressing the woods. Would you ever advise to that?
I don't think you have to.
Yeah.
There's not as much moisture in the wood. I think it's more the fabric from what I've seen. I think fabric's probably the bigger deal as far as the pre-press. You're seeing that I'm staying pretty close. There's really no issue with heat ahead of time. So you saw I just put this in the press and played with it. So I wouldn't worry too much about, being around the press or heat beforehand. It's not going to hurt it. The only thing to be wary of is if it is a thinner wood, it could always warp once it's heated. So you do want to be a little careful with that. And that's the only reason I'd probably say don't preheat the hard surfaces, just the fabrics.
Think you are caught up with questions. Does anybody else have anything for Rhonda?
All right. Well, I hope you're all excited. I think this is going to be pretty cool when it gets out there and people get to start using it. We are going to do some events later on in the month. We will have some experts here or some people who've tested it to kind of give you their tips and tricks as well as what I can provide you. I've been pretty heavy in it. Rhodes has as well. Rhodes has been doing some great quick tip videos for you. So when this launches, you'll be able to have that content to help you out. And other than that, I'm just really, really excited to say all of this out loud. I have been keeping big secrets for a while now. So it's nice to kind of start sharing. So I hope you enjoy this as much as we do. And if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and close for the day. But thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, everyone, thank you so much. See you next week and keep an eye on our website. Bye-bye.